how to sell your coaching services online. Part number 3, this is part number 3 of our 3-part series, How to Start a Coaching Business. And if you haven't watched part number 1 and part number 2, please do so and watch it first. I want to say welcome to Edupreneur.International, and here you can learn how to profitably educate your market and learn how to use systems, tools, tactics, strategies, those who really work. Why do you want this? Why would you do that? Because you want to spread your message in the online world, to share your knowledge, you share your wisdom, and by doing so, you will have more freedom, you will have more time and money, because you will also have more customers. Is that something you're interested in? If this is yes, then say, yes, I want this. Okay. Thank you for being here. Now, just as a reminder, at the end of this 3rd part, I will share with you a link where you can download your 50 steps audit checklist to build your successful sales funnel. And this is so important, and I shared why it is so important now, 2022 and beyond, because we are in an industry which is growing. I think this is one of the fastest growing industries in the world right now. Now, let's go to the basics. Either you want to start your business or you already have a business, then let's go back to the roots. Why I'm doing that? Because if you build a building, a house, if the foundation is strong enough, you can build more stores, a stronger house. But if the foundation is smushy, is not correct, is not strong, it will tumble, and we don't want this. So therefore, we want to build a strong company, a strong business. Now, let's start with this one here. There are 3 parts what you probably look at. Things you want to do, things what you love, you want to do things what you're good at, and you want to do things which pay well, right? So in these 3 environments, we are on a daily basis. But if you just do things what you love, it might be just a dream, because people might not follow you. They might not pay for your services. If you're just doing what you're good at, and that might be your current job, if you're doing a job or your business, then you might be happy, but you end up very likely poor, because there might be not enough people or not the right people who want to use your services and your products. And number 3 is you just do what pays well, but very likely you're not happy. You might get rich. What a lot of people do, they earn a lot of money, but they're not really happy. And it will show up in their health, and we want to live a healthy, happy life. Is that something what you want? So therefore, if you combine these 3 things, then you will find your winning zone, which I call the winning zone, where you win, but your customers as well. Because if you're just doing what pays well, you are probably not happy, as I just said, and the customer will recognize this. But if you really beam, and if you have a lot of energy, and if you love what you're doing, then people will recognize this. You know, I have been doing coaching and trainings for more than 30 years. Why? Not only because it's one of the greatest businesses and jobs in the world, because I love it. Why do I love it? Because I see people grow. I see them moving from A to B. I see how much money they make. I see how they personally evolve and grow. And you know that very probably as well. If you don't grow, you die. Everything in nature, everything what doesn't grow dies eventually. So therefore, isn't it beautiful to see people grow? That's why I love doing what I do on a constant basis. And I want you to do that as well. But let's check this again. You need to know what your customers want. If they don't pay for what you can do and what you love, they won't pay you. And they won't be there. And you will have a very miserable life. And I have been to that place. And I know a lot of coaches and trainers who are there. They're excellent coaches, excellent trainers, excellent consultants. But they don't have the audience. They don't have the clients, not enough clients. So eventually they give up. And I don't want you to be in that place. Now, let's look what is necessary for you to do. We shared in the last two videos 3 areas. So 2 areas, and we talk about the last one today. So the first one is you need to understand who you are and who your customers are and what journey they are doing. You're helping them on their journey, and at the same time, you are growing on that journey. This is also called marketing, because we help people to move from A to B, to understand why your services and why your products are better for them or the best for them. It might not be the best in the world, but if your personality, your knowledge, and their need match, then we are here in the winning zone, and then we don't have to sell hard or sell at all because it's just an offer. We talked about your solution, which is your coaching. And now the next step, the last one here today, is you need to know the problems of your customers. The more you know the problems, the better it is. And therefore, once you start talking about the problems, you start communicating it. And therefore, it's also called sales. The way you communicate is selling. You're selling every time, each and every second, something to others as well as to yourself. And if I ask you, are you a good salesperson? A lot of them, when I ask this question, a lot of you would probably say, no, I'm not. But you're selling it yourself every moment to do something. I like this or I don't like this. I should do that or I shouldn't do that. And the same to your relatives, to your family, and to other people. Now, the way you're doing this is the key. So therefore, it is so important to know how you communicate. The way you communicate to yourself and to others is the key. So you need to know where you are and where you want to be. The same goes for your client. If you're talking to your client or to your prospect, you need to ask them, where are you right now? And where do you want to be? And then you map out a plan with them and for them. Because if they are in pain, if they are in high need, then they don't really, very often don't really know what to do, what next steps to do. That's where you come in. That's where your knowledge and expertise comes in, because you are not in their shoes. You're outside. You have got a better view. That's so important. And second, you have got the experience. If you combine those two things, every client wants to work with you. Now, how you communicate. Think about how you have been communicating so far, what is working and what's not working. Make a list and write it down, what's working for you in the communication when you communicate to a prospect or to a family member or to your spouse or whoever, and think about what's working and what's not working. So as you just saw, I don't make a difference between private communication and business communication because we're all humans. And if I can communicate well to my partner, then I can communicate well to my business partner. What's the difference? He or she is a human, and he or she is also a human. So the way we communicate is the key here. Now, second part is, and if you want to know more about that, we go deeper in the Freedom Business Formula where you really understand what you need to say, when you need to say, how you're going to talk to your clients, and by having key information, which is right now working in the market. And how can you do that? By you doing the important research. I cannot do the research for you. You have to do that. You know your customers, you know your ideas, you know your expertise, and therefore you are the expert. You know that. And now let's talk about the second important question, which you need to answer is where you're doing that. Meaning which platform you are using. So when I talk about platform, then as we had in the last video, it's either online or it's offline. And that's a big difference. If you talk to somebody offline, then you behave differently. They're listening differently. Their concentration span is so much different than online. So that's why so many struggled moving from offline to online now in the last 24 months because they weren't used to. You need to work in a different way. And I go into that deeper in the Freedom Business Formula because the way you set up your programs, the way you set up your coaching cannot be the same as you have been doing so offline. It is different. And right now I'm talking so much more than I would if we had a conversation. And if we be on the webinar, I would also ask more questions and wait for your answers so that we can stay in a constant conversation. But this is here a certain way. This is the video and you're watching and I don't know you yet. Excuse me, I don't know you yet, and I hope we can come into a good conversation very soon. And if you want to leave some comments below, then I would be really happy. Just comment below. What is your biggest learning so far? And what's your obstacle in communicating with others? And let me answer your comments. Okay? And now, what's online? What's the difference? For example, it can be different. The way you communicate on chat is different than you communicate on video. Why? Because chat, there is more interaction, and on video, right now, as I just said, there is not so much interaction right now because I do something now, and perhaps tomorrow or in 5 days, you answer and comment it and watch the video. So on chat, it is more connected and it's more a conversation. But we communicate different on chat than when we're using a phone, right? So therefore, you need to know the differences and also the different platforms you're using. People behave different on Facebook than, for example, on Instagram or on YouTube or on a WhatsApp group. So once you've figured this out, what your customers want and how they communicate and what's their preferred platform, then it's easier for you. So for every industry, it's different, and for every product, it's different, and for every service, it's different. So I cannot tell you which is the best. So if anybody tells you this is the best platform, you have to be on Facebook, you have to be on YouTube, you have to be on Instagram. They might be wrong because they can only say it because what was working for them. And apart from that, it is constantly changing because trends are changing. But why I'm doing it here on YouTube? Because it's a search platform and it will stay for the next 5, 10, 20 years there. So it's like a library. And if you're watching this now after some months, I have recorded it. That's wonderful because it's not outdated. What I'm sharing with you here are strategies and systems, and they will stay in the future as well because they have been working in the past as well. Now, the number 3 is, what do you do? What do you do and how do you do it? What do you do and how do you do it? Meaning, we're talking about systems. What systems are you using? And it's on one part, it's not easy to set up systems because if you don't know where you are, then you don't know what systems you're using. And if you're changing it each and every time, you don't have a system. On the other hand, there are systems out there which other people use and do and which work. So why would you invent the wheel again? That's what I have done for so many years. I thought I know it better. I thought others are not me, so I have to invent my system. Once I realized that there are systems out there which are applicable for me, then my life became so much easier because my business grew. And therefore, the systems and the strategies we are sharing in the Freedom Business Formula will help you to build your systems. But I ask you to try them out first, understand them first, try them, do them, put them into your business. And once you understood how it's working in your business, then change them. Don't change them before. I have been to that place, and my clients have been to that place where they thought, okay, that's a system, and I immediately change it. Why would you do that? It is not working. First understand how it's working, master it, and then change it. Then change it to your system. Now, these are the 3 important questions. First, you need to understand how you communicate and how you should communicate to your clients' needs and the problems they're facing, and on which platform you are doing so. It's a big difference between online and offline. And what do you do and how you do it in order to make it good, make it worthwhile, and make it important for you. Now, if you like that, please like, subscribe, and get notified by clicking on the bell so that you get all the new videos I'm sharing with you. And please comment below, what is your biggest aha moment? What's your biggest learning? Or what is your biggest obstacle you're facing right now? I would really like to hear that. Now, we are coming to the end of this 3-part series. What we have been talking about is this here. You need to know who you are, you need to know your solution, and you need to know your problems you're facing and other people, especially your clients, are facing. That's why you need to learn to market it, to sell it, and how to coach. These are the 3 important steps. I cannot go very deep here in this short time. It was just an overview for you, but we go so much deeper in the Freedom Business Formula. Now, I want to give you what I have shared many times in all these 3 different videos with you that I want to offer you to click on this link here. Edupreneur.click/audit checklist. Edupreneur.click/audit checklist. And here you would get all the information to build your successful online funnel, and which is so important. And if you liked that, what I have shared with you, please comment below. I'm looking forward for your answers, and I'm looking forward for your success. Because if you're doing what my clients are doing, you will be successful as well. I wish you all the best and stay healthy.